Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me to give a rousing welcome to our Mayor, Honorable Baraka.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm not gonna be long because I want to get into some questions that people have. So I just want to say thank you, first of all, for thinking it not robbery to come out here today and listen to what it is that we have to say, and being concerned enough about the city to come here and listen to what's being said and what's being done and trying to get involved. I want to thank the pastor of this wonderful church here, this place, for allowing us to be in the building. First of all, let's say thank you to him. That's for sure. I also want to thank my deputy mayor, Ugo, who is always on my back, by the way. He does a great job, though, and I don't have to worry about what's going on because he's always on top of it. We appreciate the work that he does every single day. Want to thank the council president, Mildred Crump, who's here with us, who's a partner with us in making sure we move the city forward always. The representative from the South Ward, Brother Jabbar, representing our councilman, my councilman, John James, who's the councilman of this ward where I live, and Barbara King, Jenamisa, who is a long family friend, but also the head of the African Commission and all the work that the folks from the African Commission are doing. I want to thank you for that great work in the city. I just want to reiterate a few things that Ugo said, the deputy mayor said, that's important for you to understand, for you to know, and for you to be involved in what we're doing every day in this city. I know sometimes when you come, like he said, you come to the States, we usually form and we stay in our little circles and we don't really get involved in what's going on in the community, but that's not really a good idea because the community you live in is here to serve you. So if there's things that are not happening for you in the community, it's because we're not involved at the level that we should be involved. And the work that's happening between the African Commission, the United African Forum, the work that the Deputy Mayor is doing in this city is all designed to get the African community more connected, more engaged to what's happening in the city of Newark. It's not enough just to come here and spend your money, because when you spend money, you add to the economy of the city, but you have to also benefit socially and politically from what's going on in the city at the same time. When the city gives out summer jobs, how many do? You're not involved. You have to be involved because your kid has to work in the summertime too. And you don't have to be afraid, language afraid, culture is different. You don't have to be afraid. Our office is there to make sure that you navigate and benefit from all of the things that the city has. With the municipal ID, you know how many people use that municipal ID? Right now we get at least 100 people a day that are signing up for municipal ID in the city of Newark. 100 people a day. 100. That means there are many people of many different nationalities from all over the world who live in the city of Newark who are benefiting from this municipal ID. You just have to make sure that the African community is a part of that benefit as well. So if you're here, you don't have an ID and you haven't visited the Vital Statistics Office and got yourself a municipal ID, then you're not taking advantage of services that are put here for you. You need that, and we need you to get involved in it as well. Everything that we're doing in this city, from Centers of Hope, from summer fun activities, from employment and training, for all the things that take place in the city, you have to be involved in that. To community block organizations, to parent meetings, you have to be involved in it. You have to get involved and make your presence known in the city of Newark. It's the time to do it. If it was no other time, now is the time. God has sent you a symbol, a sign to say it's time to get involved. But you've been sitting around too long, watching and complaining. Now you have a road to walk upon to get yourself involved. I see my brother Charles over there. You know, when we first did the Ghanaian Way down here on Victoria, you know, that's got to be God, because only God can take Victoria Boulevard to Ghanaian Way, right? Could once again take Queen Victoria and move her out and put the Africans in. That's real though, you know. You think of that in hindsight, but that's real. I mean, so it's important to understand that these things that are happening are not happening by accident. They're happening by design, and you have to get yourself involved in those things so your family can benefit, so you can benefit, so your community can benefit, so you can be a part of the renaissance that's happening here in the city of Newark. Because Newark is not going to be the same place it is 5 years from now. It's not going to be. It's not going to be the same place it is 10 years from now. Don't get fooled, because there's a lot of people, the media, the press, try to get you so wound up in saying that Newark is not a good place, so you leave. So when you leave, other people come and they take what you don't want. Like we in Brooklyn. So it's important to understand that you have to cast your buckets down where you are right now. And you have to build up for what you have, begin to own the stores in the community. Begin to own the houses in the community. Begin to build community centers for your children in the community. Develop after-school programming and cultural activities so folks can understand your presence in this neighborhood, in this community. And bring more of our young people to these meetings like this. Make sure that our college students, our high school students are involved in meetings such as this so they begin to carry on the traditions that need to be carried on in our community. That's important. That's extremely important. In order to have a powerful kind of legacy in this city, you have to make sure that the young people are also involved. That politics is just not an old man's game. That young people have to be involved in it. That our women have to be involved in it. Right? That our children have to be involved in it. It's important that we establish that in the city. So it's a pleasure for me absolutely to be here and try to get the strength of the African community involved in this city. So first of all, people have to be registered to vote.
Amen.
You have to be registered to vote. You got to get registered. It's not enough. And I know some of us are registered in other places and we vote back home, and that's none of my business. But you need to be registered here in the city of Newark, where you live at every day. Because the garbage being picked up on your block is more important to you right now than the garbage being picked up somewhere else. Right? The things that are happening in your neighborhood is more important to you right now than anything happening anywhere else. The schools your kids go to, the jobs that are available for them, the streets that they live on, the money that we have for police, the fight that we have with other people. We need the strength and the prayers and the spirit of the African community involved in what we do every single day. Now I'm going to say this last thing. Newark is a diverse city. It's probably the most diverse city in the state of New Jersey. We're an extremely diverse city. We have dozens of nationalities. In fact, there's dozens of different people from the African continent itself. I know some people look at Africa like it's a country, but it's a continent. Right, so when you talk about Africa by itself, there's at least a dozen different countries from Africa here by themselves. Never mind all of the other countries that exist in our city of Newark, whether they're from Portugal or Italy or Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or Haiti or all of these places, or Jamaica, all these places, all these countries around the world that live and exist here in the city of Newark, who are also a part of our great culture. Africa represents at least a dozen more of those countries. And people have, and you have to look at it that way, because the way it's portrayed to many people in the States, when they say Italy, or they say Portugal, or they say Jamaica, they say Africa in the same breath. But that's not the same thing, because those are countries and Africa is a continent. So it's important for us to show that authority and power, right? Now understand that. And if you take the whole of the United States, the whole of the United States can fit comfortably inside of the continent of Africa. You can take all of North America and it'll fit comfortably inside of Africa, because it's one of the largest, most populated continents on the planet. That's just a fact. The last thing, and the people don't want to admit it, is that every other country I named is a derivative of the continent of Africa, right? So that means that everybody from around the world, no matter what their pigment or their hue or their language or the food or the music that they listen to, comes out of the continent of Africa, right? So scientists, I'm not saying that just because you're here, I'm saying it because it's what I know as a fact. That the mitochondrial DNA has shown that everybody's DNA, everybody's genes in the world, there's a trace from the continent of Africa. Every single person on the planet, Pastor, everybody. So the important thing is, do we feel that strength and power in this community in the city of Newark? And that's what the important thing is. Are we involved at that level in the city? Are we involved in, are we at all of the events? Do we have events of our own? Do we feel the power of the African community here in the city of Newark? And that's really what this forum is about. Now we can talk about a whole bunch of things. I'll address any questions, any issues, any concerns that you have about your neighborhood, your block, your community, whatever you want to say and ask me about or disagree with me about. I'm here to do that. I have thick skin. I'm not afraid. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But ultimately, for me, it's about affirming the power of this community and about saying, we need your help. And that we need you involved in this city, just like all of the other nationalities that I mentioned are involved and getting more and more involved because they should, because they too are a part of this great city. We need you to feel the same way, that you are a part of this community, a part of this city. There's not Newark and then the African community. No, there's only one Newark. It's only one Newark, and you are a part of that. And you have to act like you're a part of that. So when there's applications being passed out for summer jobs, we give it to all of the people in the city. We need to see Africans online too, right? And when you look in City Hall and you see all of the nationalities represented, you ought to see Africans in City Hall as well, right? So you have to be a part of this community, and I have to make my word my bond, right? I have to say that if this is what we need to do, then we need to bring Africans into leadership position, which is what we began to start doing, and hopefully those are not the last, but just the beginning. And what needs to happen is that you have to assert yourself into these neighborhoods in this community. You have to assert yourself. That's what we're asking for. So, you know, whatever it is that we can do as a city, we're here for you. We want you to be clear on that. I'm here for that very specific reason. And I know there's many people that's not registered to vote, and that Ugo is going to make sure they get registered, or I'm going to get on him. The same way he gets on me, I'm going to get on him. Make sure they registered. He's trying to make me travel all over the world. That's the problem, man. Every 5 minutes he wants me to go to China, to Nigeria, to Ghana, to Liberia, all in the same week. All in the same week. We can add that too. He wants me to take months aside and just travel around the world. I told him I got to be the mayor sometime, man. I can't do a road show. We had that mayor already. So, I mean, any issues or questions you have, I'm willing to answer them. I'm happy to be here today. I appreciate the turnout. It makes me feel good in my heart. It also means that the African community is becoming more excited and about getting involved in the city of Newark, and we desperately need you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please put your hands together for the mayor one more time.